Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, Jen and I, we retired in 2021 and we have been full-time on our homestead here in Maine. We left the rat race, came out here, and we have been building our homestead from scratch, working mainly on our infrastructure right now. That being said, today we're going to be working on our skirting. So I'll leave a link in the description of what we did last year. And honestly, you know, what we did, it worked. It was quite costly. It was a 1 year, one and done type of resolve, but it did work. And we did get to use what we used on the skirting in our garden. And what we used was hay bales. Now for these types of cabins, hay bales are not ideal, but they will work. Some of the issues we did run into, the first issue was a big one, and we should have seen it coming, but we didn't. And that is that the hay really invites mice underneath the cabin. We found a ton of signs of mice when we pulled the hay away from the cabin in the spring, and hopefully this year with what we're doing, we're not going to have that issue. Now, we didn't have any mice in the cabin primarily because our cabins are brand new. But over time, if we continued to use the hay bales, I am absolutely convinced that we would have a mice problem in the cabin. The other issue with hay is the fact that it's costly. I think we spent, you know, $600 or $700 on the hay last year for the skirting. And like I said, we only had 1 year out of it. The good news is we were able to use that hay in the garden this year, and it really did a wonderful job for what we needed it for, but that was certainly not a long-term solution. What we're doing this year, which we're hoping is going to be a semi-long-term solution, is we're going to be putting up 2-inch foam board behind 3/8 plywood. The intent here is really to insulate underneath the cabin. A couple of reasons, right? So number one, helps keep the cabin warm. Number two, it'll also help prevent any frost heaving that may have otherwise occurred underneath the cabin. So with our cabins being on piers, we don't want them to move more than what they're already doing in their settling process. The cabins have only been here a year. They are settling. We have had to jack the buildings up and shim them in certain areas. Not as much as we may have originally thought. They are doing a really good job, but come winter time with the frost and us having such a high water table, the frost heave here in Maine is out of this world. It's unbelievable, and I have never seen anything like it. And so we've got to do whatever we can to make sure that we protect the cabin. All right, so with that said, let's get started. the reason we're burning the plywood is for a couple of reasons. Number one, aesthetically, it looks much better than normal plywood. And for the second reason, which is really the most important one, is we're trying to protect it a little bit from the elements. So the idea here is that this is going to be up against the snow for the better part of about 5 months. And so we do want to try to help protect it. Now, we may come back in the springtime or in the summertime next year and put a coat of sealant on it, but I think for right now, by getting this burned, getting it up there, kind of seeing how it performs, assuming everything goes well, come the summertime next year, when we want to make this our permanent long-term solution, again, assuming it all goes well, then we'll go ahead and seal it up and go from there. So aesthetically though, it looks cool. So to make sure that we have enough bite on the cabin through the plywood, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go up 5 inches on our bottom row here. That's going to give us enough, enough space to put several brad nails in there to hold the piece up.
What are you doing? Uh-oh. Better watch it, the sun's gonna get. Oh my God. I was like, it's gonna fall on me. Uh-oh. I can't get it.
Okay, so we have the majority of our panels on. Really, before I finish putting the rest of the panels on, the next step here is I've actually got to get under the cabin, and I've got to add gravel to the back side of these panels. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. Okay, so as we make our way under the cabin, I've got some gravel here already. But what we need to do is we need to backfill. We need to backfill behind the panels. So if you can see, there's a small gap there between the back of the panel and the gravel. That's where we cut it out. You might be able to see it here too. You can see it right there. So all I'm gonna do is go around underneath here. I've already done the far side there, but I need to get this area in here. You can kind of see where the light's coming up. That is, nope, that's not it. So we're gonna go ahead and add gravel to the back underneath here. And then we gotta go do that side as well. Kind of dark and creepy in there, but we'll get her done. This is not easy. I don't like this. Being in this cabin is kind of crazy. But yeah, here we are. Oh, and this is the hallway. These are the joints for the hallway. Yeah, all right. Well, I got one cabin done. Now I gotta go do the other one. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm a little too big to be under here, I think. I give props to all those people who have to crawl around under homes. I wouldn't want to do it. And you know, the funny thing is my home's new, so I don't have a lot of cobwebs and, you know, creepy crawlies under here yet, so. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so this was the last piece other than the hatch, which is going to be a removable piece so that if I have to get under the cabin for any reason, I'll have access to it and I don't have to pull the panel off. The next step here is to go ahead and make that piece. We're going to get it fitted, and then yeah, then it's just about sealing this top crevice here and around, and then filling in any gaps that we have, and then finishing putting gravel up against it. So we're getting close.